Hi guys, welcome back. Today we'll be discussing another topic, that is binomial nomenclature. Now, what is the meaning of binomial nomenclature? It is a method that is used to give scientific name to living organisms. All the living organisms that are present in the world, each one of them have a scientific name. And there was a biologist named as Carolus Linnaeus. He was the first one who proposed this binomial nomenclature system. As the name indicates, bi meaning two. So a scientific name consists of two names. The first part is known as genus, whereas the second part is known as species. How? The scientific name of humans is Homo sapiens, right? So the first part, Homo, is known as genus. This is the genus part, whereas sapiens is the species part, right? So this is how the scientific name is characterized. It consists of two names. The first part is the genus, whereas the second part is the species. Okay. Now we will learn about different rules which are used to write these scientific names, which are important to follow. The first rule is the how these scientific names are written. In case of the printed form, when they are printed on different books, on different articles, they will always be in the form of italics. The font will be italics, that is slanting, right? But in case of handwritten form, when they are handwritten, then you need to make sure that the scientific name is always underlined, like Homo sapiens. You need to underline it. It's not a printed form, right? It is written by hand, so it needs to be underlined. That is very much important for writing a scientific name. The second rule: how do we write the genus and the species name? For that purpose, the first letter of the genus will always be capital. The first alphabetical letter will always be capital, whereas the first alphabetical letter of the species, sapiens, will always be small. Clear? So the first alphabetical letter of genus will always be capital, whereas the first alphabetical letter of the species name will always be small. Clear? So this was the second rule. This brings us to the third rule, that if the genus is same but species is different and we are using the name repetitively, what will we do? Writing it down for the first time, we will use the complete name. We are going to write the complete name. This is the name of a bacteria, Streptococcus pneumonia, right? This is the genus Streptococcus and pneumonia is the species. Similarly, Streptococcus aureus, another bacteria. You can see genus is same, right? But species is different. There are number of species which are present within this genus. So what happens when there are several species but the genus is same? We can write the scientific name like this: S. pneumonia. We can just write the first initial, obviously initial, we can write the initial of the genus name. We can just write the initial of the genus name and then we'll have to write the complete species name. This can be done. Similarly, E. coli, which means Escherichia coli. Clear? So when it is used repetitively, then we can just use the initial of the genus if it has got several species. So these are the three rules. The first rule was how to write it. When it is printed, it needs to be italic. When it is handwritten, it needs to be underlined. The first letter of the genus name is always capitalized, whereas the first letter of the species name is always small. In case of the number of species that are present in a same genus, the initial of the genus can be used. These were the three rules. Now, the question arises that what is the need of the binomial nomenclature system? Why do we need it? What is the significance? What is the importance of this system? There are a number of different reasons why this system was proposed. The first reason is that use of different names for the same organism in different regions. I will talk about Pakistan. In case of onion, this is an onion, right? In Urdu language, it is known as प्याज. इसको हम बोलते हैं प्याज, right? In different regions of Pakistan, it is also known as basal, wasal, or ganda. These are all the names of the same living organism. Same organism has number of names. So in order to remove this confusion, this onion will be given a simple scientific name, that is Allium cepa, which will remove all the confusion of translating that name or giving different names according to the region. This Allium cepa will be universally accepted. Clear? So this is the first reason why this system is needed. The second reason, same name for different organisms. Having same name, but living organisms are different. Common example is the crow. Common example is crow or raven. Both of these are called as black bird, but both of these are different living organisms, right? Both of these are different, crow and raven. So in order to remove this confusion, a scientific name will be given. So the second reason is same name given to the different organisms. Clear? There is the third basis as well. There are certain names given to the living organisms which do not have any scientific basis. For example, if we talk about fish, what are fish? Fish are basically vertebrates which have gills and fins, right? But similarly, if we talk about crayfish, jellyfish, starfish, all of these do not have fins or gills. In fact, crayfish is a wingless insect, right? And starfish lives only in seawater. They do not have the same characteristics as that of a fish. So why are they called fish? These are the confusion. There is no scientific basis to it. So in order to remove this confusion, a scientific name is given to them, which does not confuse the other person, which does not include these in the fish category. Clear? So in order to remove these confusion, scientific name is usually given. Another reason for giving scientific name is to honor the research workers who are basically discovering the living organism, working on that living organism. One of the example is the Bauhinia variegata, which is an ornamental orchid plant in the Southeast Asia, orchid plant. It was discovered by a Swedish botanist whose name was Bohin. And in order to honor this research worker, they gave the name Bauhinia variegata to the orchid plant. So these are the reasons why scientific names are needed. So there is no need to translate the name into different languages, and only one name having two parts will be considered universally and it is accepted. Clear? There are a number of examples of the scientific names that are given. Onion, we have already discussed, is known as Allium cepa. As you can see, it is written in the italic form because it is printed, right? Common sea star is known as Astreus rubens, whereas house crow is known as Corvus splendens. Every single living organism have got their own scientific name based on their characteristics, based on from where they were discovered or who discovered them. There are a number of reasons to give the scientific name, on which basis they are given the scientific name. I hope both of these are clear, that why is it needed and how do we write a scientific name. If you have got any question, let me know in the comment section. I would love to hear back from you. And thank you so much for joining. Subscribe to my channel. like it, share it, and follow me on Instagram. Yeah, till next time, stay safe. Bye bye.